Okay, in this problem, we're going to determine the missing amount for the supplies account. And the missing amount could be in various situations. We have four parts to this problem: A, B, C, and D. Now, this is not a difficult problem, but the way it's worded maybe make it a little bit more difficult than it has to be. Let's see, I'll start with this off. It says determine the missing amounts in each of the four separate situations, A through D, and we only have A on the screen right now. And here's what we were given in part A. Supplies available prior year end, $400. Well, I'm going to come back and tell you that I think here's what would be a better way to say this. I'm not going to change the wording because I want it to look exactly like what the exercise looks like. But here's what my little change would be. Supplies available prior to year end, that's what that means to me is beginning balance of supplies. That's what that really means, beginning balance of supplies. So the beginning balance of supplies was $400. Supplies purchased in the current year was $2,800. Supplies available current year end would be $800, and that really means to me supplies available current year end means the ending balance of supplies. And then what we're looking for is the supplies expense of the current year. So let me start this over again. Keeping in mind these two changes right here, this really means the beginning balance of supplies, and this really means the ending balance of supplies. So beginning balance of supplies was $400. We purchased $2,800 worth of supplies. The ending balance of supplies was $850. And what we're looking for, the unknown, is the supplies expense for the current year. So, keep in mind those little word changes. Here's what I'm going to do. Start with this little idea right here. Beginning balance of supplies plus purchases equals supplies available minus the ending balance of supplies equals the supplies at the supplies, supplies, that really should be supplies used. Alright, so here we go. Supplies expense. I'm sorry, that should be supplies expense, and it is. All right, so the beginning balance is $400 plus $2,800 equals $3,200 worth of supplies that were available minus the ending balance of supplies, which was $850. And so the supplies expense will be, when I combine all these pieces together, the supplies expense for that year will be $2,350. All right, that's part A. 2350 is the answer. Let's go to part B. Part B, beginning balance of supplies, 2120. The supplies purchased, 7208. Supplies at the end of the year, we don't know. That's what we're looking for, the end of the year supplies. Supplies expense, they gave us that as 1820. So let's plug in what we know. We know the beginning balance was 2120 plus 7208 equals supplies available of 9328 minus the ending balance equals the supplies that we have expense for this current period of 1820. And let's combine the pieces all over here. So that what we end up with is the supplies ending balance of 7508. And anytime you want to, you can go in here and just plug that number in to this ending balance and just check it by running this through your calculator. Okay, that's part B. 7508 was the ending balance. Part C. Beginning balance is 1802. We purchased, we don't know. That's what we're looking for. We had supplies at the end of the year of 2282, and we have used up supplies or supplies expense for the current year of 13,468. Here's our little formula. We plug in what we know, and in this case we start with the beginning balance of 1802. We don't know how much we purchased, so therefore we can't come up with the supplies that were available during this accounting period. But we can subtract off the ending balance of supplies of 2282 to come up with the supplies expense of 13,468. And here I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to say that I can figure out the supplies available by taking these two pieces and combining them together. So when I combine these two pieces together, notice how I did this. When I moved this to the other side of the equal sign, on the other side of the equal sign, it became a plus. So now I know that supplies that were available would be 15,750. Now let's go back again. 1802 beginning balance plus what we purchased, we don't know, but we know that that gave us a total supplies available of 15,750. So I can take the difference between these two and I'll get the purchases, which happen to be 13,948. Part D. 13,948. So Part D, we don't know the beginning balance of supplies, but we do know what were purchased, 7,808. At the end of the year, we know what that balance was, $7,800. Excuse me, $800. And we know that supplies expense for the year was $83.83. So take our little formula there, plug in what we know, and we can do this one basically the same way. We've got let's see, beginning balance we don't know, plus purchases gives us supplies available of we're not sure, but we can find that by moving this on the other side of the equal sign, and that'll give us what the supplies available were. So supplies available are going to be 91.83, and the beginning balance, which we don't know, plus 78.08 equals 91.83. The difference between these two would be the beginning balance, which is 1375. Now let me just say that there's lots of ways to work this problem, and if what I just said about coming up with this extra little step here of supplies available, if that seems to be a step that you don't think is necessary, skip it. But I think it's a good thing to understand the idea that when you have a beginning balance of something plus something that you purchase, that gives you something called the amount that you have available to use. I think that's an important concept to understand. But if you want to take a shorter cut and leave that out, you can probably still get the right answer to this problem. So we're done.